Hello again, I'm Angela and this is La Luna Ray. Welcome into my space and my energy. Today I will be talking to you about doing shadow work using tarot. And so I've been shuffling cards now for like 10 years. And I always do readings for myself, not daily, but definitely weekly. I'll definitely take just a quick look, right? And it's not really for divination. I'm not really interested in whatever, my love life or I'm not looking for anything specific. Really, it's just to do a check. And by a check, I just mean like more like a unconscious, working with the things that are in my periphery. I'm usually talking to spirit and saying, hey, like, what am I not seeing? Or if something is on my mind, then I will ask more questions about that specific thing. But more times than not, it's always like, hey, talk to me. What am I not seeing? What needs to come up? And it's usually what I find ends up happening is shadow work. And so I use tarot mostly for shadow work, and I'm doing this all year long. And I find it's always bubbling up those crevices, those pieces of ourselves, or at least of myself, that I need to work on. And I eventually developed a particular spread that I like to use when I'm like, I really want to do some deep dives on shadow work. And I'm going to share that particular spread with you today. What I have is I think this might be the first tarot deck I ever bought. No, that's not true. No, this isn't the first one. This is probably the first Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck that I'm going to be working with. And to be honest, I've gone back and forth about, what's the word I'm looking for? Retiring this deck, but it's my first one. I love this deck, and so I'm going to work with it today. It usually just kind of sits and hangs out, so. But anyway, I don't know. I felt called to pull it out today. So here it is. And then I've got a piece of Amazon cardboard that I cut up that I'm going to be sticking the cards on so you can kind of see the spread, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do everything kind of the way I would do in real life, since this is tarot. And I've got all my little magic stuff behind me. Since this is tarot and I'm very respectful of my guides, even in this type of setting, I want to be, I don't know, respectful. And so I'm going to light some sage for all of us. I really love this bundle. It looks like, we all know what it looks like. That's not what it is. So it's actually Palo Santo though, and sage, but Palo Santo covered sage. So anyway, some smoke for you, some smoke for me. Passing along. And then here is for my cards. I do want to cleanse my cards. I haven't used these in a very long time. I have my other favorite decks that I work with. So anyway, and my space, of course. I'm gonna put this behind me and kind of let it. All right, as I shuffle, this is when I like to create a space full of only God's love. So I'm going to create that space now. I'm going to invite you into it. It's for myself and it's for my viewers. We are in a tight container together with only God's love allowed to enter. All of my spirit guides, your spirit guides, entering, filtering through God's love. It's the only way you're allowed in my space. So now that I already got a flyer and I'm just trying to, anyway. So we got a quick little flyer. Ace of Wands. You know what I love about this card is it's the only tarot card that literally gives you the thumbs up. That is saying, hey, you've got a great idea. You are full of passion and it is time to move. It is time to plant those seeds. It's time to move your feet, get going. That's a great idea. And the tarot is literally giving, the hand of God in tarot is giving you the thumbs up on what you're doing. So that's a great card. I love that flyer. All right, so our cards are shuffled. I feel good about it. I got my board. I'm ready. So I'm going to be showing you the spread that I like to use for doing shadow work. The way I'm going to be showing it to you is I'm going to be taping. I don't have tacks. I wanted tacks, but I don't have any. So it's almost like I didn't shuffle, but I did. I did shuffle. But whatever, this is what we got. So this is the first card placement. Hope you can see. We've got you in the center. That's the world. The energy you're coming out of is the moon. The energy you're going into is the star. Okay? So that's really good, actually. I think that's a great, let me explain what I'm seeing here. All right. So you being the world. Let's hone in on, actually, I've got something better. I got these. You think I can reach them? I'm like breaking my arm here. But oh, I think I can reach them. Oh my god, good. All right, so I've got these giant cards. That is perfect for this moment. Let's put these beautiful cards back. I love these giant cards. These cards are gonna be great, well, for videos, but they're also gonna be great for like candle magic and just doing my natural, like the things that I like to do. All of my little workings. These will be great to pull in particular energy that this tarot represents. Okay, anyway. All right, so the world is you. So what does that energy represent? That means that you are presently sitting in a space where you have cosmically reached the pinnacle, right? You went through a journey, you completed something, and you have, in a sense, reached self-actualization in a sense. Maybe in a part of your life you have completed something. But this is not just the beginning. This card also represents the end. The green reef around it is being held together by little pieces of red ribbon. And that really coming in full circle, but at the same time starting over again is kind of the energy. That's the cosmic egg. And the egg is the beginning and the end all at one shot. And the dancer in the center, she's doing the dance of life. And this is life. Life is full of beginnings and endings, and you keep on dancing through it all. So that's this card. So that's really the space that you're in. You're really sitting in that wonderful space of, I've done this, but I'm also trying to move on to do this. So you're just cycles ending and beginning, just the cycles of life. Now you're coming out of a space. Remember, quick recap, coming out of this energy, the moon. We talked about the center, now we're on the moon. So the energy of the moon. I love the moon card. I truly do. There's some really interesting little tidbits I would love to bring to light, but I don't have the time. So the moon, that is the energy of, that's a space of, okay, it's always looked at like it's a mystery, like it's very obscure, kind of like the moon in the sky is always changing shape, so you can't really trust it. Also at night, if you're only got the moon's light as your light to light your path, that is a little, you can't trust what you see in the shadows, because that's all you see is shadows basically, and every time you turn the shadows move, so you can't trust. So this is a card full of just, no, you can't trust what you see. You've got, and then there's a lot of anxiety too. You got the dog and the wolf. It's not two dogs. So a dog and a wolf, they're very they're very agitated. They're howling, they're upset. I'm sorry. They're upset and they're yelling at the moon. You've got the crab, which is a Cancer, the crab, the moon, that all correlates. But what I love to point out is that the crab is coming out of the water. No crab wants to come out of water. It's almost like it's confused and it's doing things it shouldn't be doing. You've got that long, windy path to the mountains, and you've got the moon here. But if you ever look at it, he's not even looking at you. The man in the moon, he's looking away from you. So that's also a little deception there. You've got all the phases of the moon in one. It's all very, very interesting. Personal take on this card for me is that it's time to do your shadow work, honestly. It's almost like there's this beckoning to dive into the unconscious parts of you. And do that work, do some deep diving, and see what you don't see on a regular basis. Do your best to kind of close these eyes and open that third eye and really take a deep dive into you. So that's what this card is beckoning us to do. So what's happening though is you're coming out of that energy. So it looks like you already went through kind of a dark night, so to speak. Okay, I'm wanting it to pick up. And okay, right. You're coming out of this energy. You went through a dark night, so to speak. You did some deep diving of some sort, and now you're moving into this energy, the world card, where you've completed something. That task has been done, and you are kind of doing that dance where it's like, hey, that happy jig, I did it. So now we're moving into this energy, that star card energy. I love this star card. So let's talk about it. That's the energy that's coming up for you. Star card. Oh, yeah, no, star card. She's beautiful. This is actually the Empress. She's come back to us in this card, if you're familiar with the tarot deck. She's come back. She's hanging out with us. She is pouring water pitchers in 2 different places. This has a lot of significance that I caught on recently. I, again, don't have time to share with you, but I love this card, and it's very easy to explain. This card, this energy is really kind of showing some healing. They like to call this the hope card. What I really like to look at it though is almost like there was a major destruction, a major dismantling in a way in your life, in some parts of your life, right? Whatever, something forced you to have to do a deep dive on yourself and really take a close look at some inner workings in your life, right? You did that, you came out on top. Now you're done with that, you finished that. But now this hope card is also telling me that you have completed something so significant that now you're in this space where you can heal. So whatever it is that you went diving in and found, it's done. You did what you had to do. You completed it. You're out of it. And now you're in this space where now you're kind of like licking your wounds, healing, kind of soaking in those healing waters that she is pouring out. There's a lot of healing and hope in this card. And this card literally saying, hey, take a pause, take a sacred pause, rest, rejuvenate. You've done your work. And that's all there is to take out of that. So this is the first line. This line represents our present. This is the present you. This is the present energy you came out of. This is the present energy you're going into. And when I say present, I mean it's just very obvious. It's that obvious energy that's just happening. All right. The next part of my shadow work spread that now the spread changes. This was the present energy. Now I'm moving into some what's going on consciously. And I want to, this is almost that energy that kind of feeds this. This is that conscious thought process that feeds your present. It's almost like you're physically here. And you're physically here because mentally you're here. And this is your conscious. And your conscious is more like just what's on your mind and what you know is on your mind, right? It's what you realize, what's on your waking mind. So you've got you in the center here. What's on your waking mind? You've got the 3 of Cups. You're celebrating. What energy are you coming out of in your waking mind? Then another celebration. Lots of celebratory. Lots of celebration. And then you're also the Chariot. You're going into this energy of the Chariot. I hope you can see okay there. Anyway, I will show you with my big cards because I love these cards. All right, so let's get into it. You've got the 3 of Cups energy. It's a beautiful energy of celebrating. You've got 3 ladies. They are holding up their cups. You can see all of the beautiful harvest. I'm sorry. Oh, there. Oh, we go. All of their harvest came in. They got the pumpkin. They've got all kinds of fruit. They're lifting up their cups of wine, and they are clearly high in light. Like this card has all of that very jubilant colors. It's just lots of celebration coming into this card. The only thing you have to be mindful with this kind of card is that 2 is company, 3 is a crowd. I don't know if it's exactly how that saying goes, but but you do have to kind of keep that in the back of your head and kind of watch your surrounding cards to make sure that 3 is a crowd energy is not what you're seeing. I don't think so though. Let's keep looking though, because that's the energy that you're in, right? You're just celebrating. You're having a good time. You are putting your cups up. You're like, yes, 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 I'm here for it. What energy are you coming out of? You're coming out of some beautiful energy, like 10 of Cups. That's a beautiful card. And I can see why we are celebrating, right? 10 of Cups. That's the card everybody wants to see. Every time you do a reading and someone sees that card, they're like, oh, okay. Yes, ultimate happiness here. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so you're coming out of a space where ultimate happiness. You've got God's promise of a rainbow of happiness, of joy, of love. You've got the arms wide open, receiving everything. You've got the little babies here playing and dancing. They're not even paying any mind. The parents see this beautiful sign in the sky. The kids, they're just happy, right? Just like kids should be. You've even got that little home in the background. Absolute security. You've got the water here, like clear skies. This is nothing but joy, ultimate happiness. You're coming out of a space where you're just happy. And now you're even moving into that space of the celebrations haven't stopped, right? You're just moving right along. Like, yeah, cups up, bottoms up. Let's do this, right? Let's pour it up. But you're running into, so the energy that I see coming your way, consciously, we're talking conscious efforts, conscious energy. You've got the Chariot, and I hope I can't see my camera, but that's the energy you're moving into. So that energy, that card right here, it's not a bad card at all. It's actually my personal card. My personal number is number 7. Fun fact, when I first got a tarot deck, my very first tarot deck, I shuffled every day because I wanted to learn my cards, and I got the Chariot every single day. I was so sick of it. I was like, I don't want to see this card anymore. I don't want to see this card anymore. Every day I turn around, it's a whole deck of 78 cards. What card do I get? The Chariot. Your boy hanging out on the I was so irritated. And then I think shortly after, I just found out about like your personal number, and I found out my personal number is 7. And I was like, I ran to the tarot deck. I was like, oh, so what's that? What's that going to be? I'm curious, because now that I know I have a number, what's that number correlate in the deck? 7. It's the frickin' Chariot. Whatever. I was like, oh, I get it. It's okay. Message received. And I never saw, not never, but I stopped seeing the Chariot all the time after I finally got the message. So tarot will be talking to you. It's just going to keep showing you the same stuff until you get it through your head though. So the Chariot, what energy are you moving into? You are moving into some very interesting energy. So I always looked at this card and I always thought, oh, this is that forward energy. You're going to be moving forward. You're gonna find your balance in life, and you're going to take off into the sunset. Sort of, maybe, kind of, soon. So what are we really looking at when we look at this card? So let's look at our friend. He's underneath a canopy of stars. He is wearing some pretty serious armor. He is being guided by those stars. He is being guided. Astrology, heavy astrology is actually sitting in this card. The other thing is the wheels. I never really noticed, but these wheels are hanging out on water. So where are we going with our wheels in the water, right? And I was like, man, I never really noticed that, but they sure enough are just in the water. So that's not bad. You can still move your wheels even if they're wet. But really what this is signifying is that being under the stars and having the wheels on top of the water is showing that this person is moving through their intuition. It's their intuition pulling them through. It's that unconscious kind of parts that are pulling them through. This person is very intuitive. You know, you are very intuitive. You're really kind of using your third eye to kind of move you through. And I love how these sphinxes, everybody always talks about the sphinxes, but does anybody ever talk about how they don't got no kind of reins on them? Not at all. They're not up and moving either. I love how I always thought this card was such a high movement card, and yet here they are like just sitting, lying down even. But they are submissive. They're submissive to the Chariot, to the rider, who is just, he is ready to go, and he is moving fully through his intuition, but he's also got that energy of ready to handle whatever comes his way. He's not going to back down. He's going to move forward confidently, right? So you're not just using your intuition, but you're putting it into action, and you're doing so confidently. So that's a beautiful energy to be moving into. So I love this card. I love everything that it means. There's a lot of balance that you have to pull in, but you're also doing it. You're doing it very well. You're balancing your reality with your intuition, with your subconscious, with your conscious. So really, you're doing a great job. So that's a great card. Okay, so now I'm placing the bottom row, and the bottom row represents your unconscious. And this will show you how your unconscious is showing up in your life and moving through your life. Oh, I've got some beat up cards here at the bottom. Oh, I love how all the beat up cards are all at the bottom. Okay. So what energy subconsciously are we moving? This is so different. This whole line is not so different, but this line is different subconsciously. You are sitting in a space of Seven of Pentacles. You're coming out of Ten of Swords, and you're walking into Page of Pentacles. So let's talk about it. What's going on here? Let me get my big deck. My big deck. Anyway, I'm getting it out. And get the cards that we're talking about. So in the center, you've got the Seven of Pentacles. I love this card. This card has a lot of, it's kind of funny because I always thought he always looks so sad looking at his Seven Pentacles. I feel like it's so many pentacles, but yeah, he's so sad. Why does he look like that? Let's talk about it. So you're sitting in this energy of, hey, things are coming through for me, and you're kind of assessing it. Okay, so he's a gardener, you know, he's got his garden tool. That is a wand, but he's got his garden tool. You can see he put in a lot of hard work, and he's literally looking at it, and he's kind of wondering how he feels about it. And so that's that energy of you reap what you sow, right? So whatever he put in is what's growing. It's also got that energy of what you water is what will grow. So you have to be mindful what you put your energy into, because it's exactly what you're going to get back. Now, when I look at this card, I don't think it's necessarily a bad harvest, but that's not really the point. And I think that's what always hung me up about that card. That's not even the point. It doesn't matter that I think it's a lot of pentacles. What matters is that he's looking at what he's done. And it's like kind of that energy of, all right, I put this in and now I'm looking at this. So am I happy with how much work I put in, right? Am I satisfied? What worked? What didn't work? It's almost that moment where you can now assess what you did and make changes if needed. So there's a lot of that energy. You can tell because the sky in the background, it's kind of like blank, right? It's not white, it's not gray, it's just like blah. The whole card has a blah feeling to it. And that's not necessarily bad. It's just that energy of you're reaping what you've sown. So take a look at what you've been sowing, and are you happy with it? So let's look at the rest of the cards to decide. Are we happy with the hard work? Do we feel like our blessings are coming through? But first, before we can move forward, we've got to talk about this Ten of Swords. Oh, I wish it would. Doesn't matter. That's the energy we're coming out of. Okay, out of the whole spread, now we're here in the subconscious spot. And subconsciously, presently, subconscious, you are sitting in that spot where you are reaping what you've sown. What are you coming out of? What energy subconsciously are you coming out of? So you are coming out of Ten of Swords. Okay? Ten of Swords is exactly how it looks. Kind of horrific, right? You have taken some hits, 10 times to be exact, and you are laid out. and you don't think you can move any further, and you're not going to. But that's not necessarily the end of, that's not the end all be all. That's just an ending that didn't end ideally. And it's all mentally too, because we're talking swords. And you just feel kind of down, completely down, like just down. Not that you're stuck there, as always, I have to point out the beautiful sunrise coming up that will definitely battle all of that darkness that was there, because it's always the darkest before the sun rises. So it's okay. You came out of this energy, so it's fine. I don't have to get super into it, but just came out of a space where maybe there was some depression, maybe there was some heavy mental darkness, kind of like that dark of night that you really had to come out of and kind of claw your way out of. And it's fair and it's warranted, and it happens to all of us. It's really just a snapshot, thank God, right? It's just a moment in time that you can kind of find your way out of. And that was the mental subconscious energy that you were kind of battling, in a sense that you didn't even realize you were battling. And that's a heavy battle to have, sitting at your roots of your subconscious, because it's going to feed everything else, whether you realize it or not. But the good news is that you came out of that space, out of that heavy mental blow. And now you are stepping into a space of Page of Pentacles. So down here we have the subconscious energy that you are stepping into. So that is I think it's a beautiful energy. It's a little bit of work to it, but it's worth it. With the Page of Pentacles, you've got this energy, which is somebody who likes to charge their batteries through nature. Also, this charged battery, after you've grounded yourself and kind of licked your wounds and put yourself back together again, you are so ready and poised to learn, gain some knowledge, sharpen your sword, hone your, sharpen your sword, hone your skills. You're really in a great space where you will pick up everything like a sponge, and you can kind of just put things in your repertoire. And also, what this card can represent, believe it or not, is good financial news too. So there's definitely a mix of things in the air. You know, you're ready to, put the pedal to the metal. I don't know, but you are ready to do the things, and you are actually going to reap some rewards. This card also represents just being ready to tackle the next thing, especially since you're coming out of this where you kind of took some mental hits, some mental blows, 10 of them to be exact, and then you stepped out of that, and you're currently sitting in a space where it's like, you know what, am I even happy? Am I happy with what I've watered in my life? Am I happy with the seeds that I've sown? Because I'm reaping them. Like, how do I feel about that? And then you're moving into this space of, you know what, I am going to charge my batteries. I am ready to kind of put the work in and learn new things, get whatever I need to get, use my resources to kind of put myself in a better position, basically. And just, putting yourself in a better position and being ready to do what you have to do will put you in a space where you're going to have financial rewards. It'll literally be things that you can touch and see, financial rewards, because you're putting yourself in a space where you are ready to do the work, put that work in, and kind of like going to school, basically. I always look at this card as the school card. This is it. This is the card spread that I love to use when I want to do deep dive shadow work, because it lets me know what energy that I'm sitting in, kind of more like, not just consciously, but more like physically. This lets me know what energy I'm sitting in physically. This line lets me know what energy I'm sitting in consciously. And this card line lets me know what energy I'm sitting in subconsciously. So this goes from the present, right? The past and the future. And then it goes, like I said, conscious, reality, subconscious. And that is how I drive this reading. And that's how I do shadow work through tarot. So a quick recap, the center card, the world card, basically you are in a space where you already went through something. You've already kind of come full circle. You've done the work. You are completely enlightened. Some kind of situation in your life has completely enlightened you, and you were able to take that experience with you and to the next thing, and you are kind of ready to do the next thing. How do I know you're ready to do the next thing? Because subconsciously you've got the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles here, this lovely dude, he is ready to do the thing, right? And that's what's feeding you subconsciously. You are here, you're poised, you're ready to learn. You've got some experiences in your bag where you can now take this and turn it into something that can bring financial rewards into your life. That's how I know that you did your work. You know how else I know you did your work? Because you're coming out of the moon. This energy right here, this beautiful card, it's scary, but it's okay. This beautiful card though lets me know that, hey, you already went through a dark of night situation where you kind of had to do some serious reflections, some serious deep dives on yourself, and kind of, or you had to just, something you had to go through and kind of assess. There was probably some mysterious things that were hidden from you. You had to get in there and figure out what they were and kind of see them for what they were. And you did that. I know you did that because you got the World card there. So you did what you were supposed to do. And also how I knew you're coming out of something, because this is your that line, your past line. You're also coming out of the 10 of Swords. That's also how I know that you came out of something. So you got the Moon, the 10 of Swords. You really came out of something. It may have even been something going on with your family life. Something was going on there, and you had to do some deep diving, and you found some things out, and it was kind of a blow. All right, whatever. Now this is you. You're sitting there, like I said, you feel completed. Why do you feel completed? Well, you know what? You did look at the 7 of Pentacles. Lets me know that you went ahead and you took a good look, and you are currently anyway, taking a good look at what brought you here. Because whatever this is you assessing. How did I get here? What brought me here? What did I do to put myself in this kind of position? And what can I do to not do it again? Whatever you learned, because now you're like, forget it. I'm taking my experiences. I'm taking everything I've gained from all of this, and I am moving on. You are healing. You're moving on. You're going to gain new experiences. You're going to make this situation work for you. Also, you're moving into a space where you're really doing some self-healing. So whatever all of this is, doesn't matter. You're in a space where you're healing, you're fixing, you're doing your work. Also up here, so consciously whatever, this may have something to do with family, but you don't see, whatever happened, you're moving on. Now I just had a thought, because remember when I said earlier how, that card, the 3 of Cups, can be a celebration, and it could also show that 3 is a crowd. So that could be you seeing the 3 of crowds. Now that I'm thinking about it, because now I'm looking at the whole thing with this and this and this leading into this, that could be a 3 is a crowd energy. So what do you do with that information? You know what? You use your intuition and you move on. But you're not going to move on just like, I don't know, just willy-nilly and just like, oh, I'm just going to. No. You're going to be strategic. You're going to put your shit together, and you're going to move on in a way that makes sense, in a way that you don't have to look back ever again. How do I know? You're using your stars above you. You've got your armor on. You've got you're balancing things out. You're really making sure that everything is in place, and you don't even have to. These I love how they're not even on reins. They already know what's up. They're going to do what they got to do. And then your wheels are not sitting on ground, which sounds weird. It's in water, but that's good because it lets me know that you are moving in a way where you're working with your intuition, and your intuition is propelling you, and you are connected to your intuition. And so it's not like you're one of those people who's like, I don't know if I should. Now you know, and you move on that knowing in full confidence. So that's a shadow. That's how I work on my shadow work. That's how I do shadow work. It helps me understand what's going on under and why I'm seeing, because if you look at it this way, I always look at it like a tree, like maybe these are the leaves of the tree. This is the conscious, right? So this is the leaves of my tree. This is kind of like the branches, the parts of the tree that's holding the leaves, the branches of the twigs. So I always think of this as the roots of the tree feeding the rest of the spread and essentially showing me the rest of your life, right? These are the roots. What's at the roots? You know, something happened and you took assessments, but you're ready to move on. And then the trunk, this is the core of the tree. This is what's holding the tree up. That's why I call it your present. It's the strongest part. It's the strongest part that we see. So this is the trunk of the tree, holding it up, the core of the tree. And then the conscious part, that's the leaves of the tree. And the leaves of the tree are always telling. It lets you know if the tree is sick and not producing any leaves. It lets you know if if the leaves are green and they're full and they're beautiful. It lets you know this tree's healthy and whatever's going on over here is working really well because we got nice, beautiful green leaves. Or, you know, if the leaves are red and gold and whatever, well, now we know, you know what, something's going on here because these leaves are now falling off and it's, you know, they're changing colors. I mean, is it time for that? Is it too soon? Does it make sense that this is happening? You know, that's how I look at this particular spread. That's how I look at a lot of spreads. This particular spread especially is how I look at it. So that's how I do my tarot work, that's how I do my shadow work using tarot. I always find that when I do this spread on others, that it's always very eye-opening for them and they are just glued into the reading because it's pretty profound and it does take some deep dives on people, unexpected deep dives that I'm not always entirely ready to deliver, but it is what it is. I do as I'm asked. So yes, let me know if you find yourself shuffling cards and decide to work with this spread. It's a great spread. Also, I have been considering possibly doing some more videos just teaching the cards, just giving some of my knowledge that I have on the cards from what I've learned in the last, I've only been shuffling for almost 10 years, so I'm not like the most proficient person ever, but I've learned so much and I love to share that with you. I don't know, let me know what you think. It's a pretty big task, 78 cards, and talking about every single one of them that could take forever. Anyway, let me know what you think. I hope you loved this reading. I loved giving it. So anyway, leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.